Greetings to everybody.
Greetings.
Thank you, Brother David Jawa.
Thank you.
I think I'm not new to this sort of conference, which is more or less an annual affair. At any time I'm available, I try to join hands and then try to make sure that anybody who comes to Ghana to come invest at least have an idea as to how best you can acquire land without any problems. Land is a very important issue in the affairs of men. As we all know, you will see a lot of wars going on left and right, even just at our neighbors here with Ivory Coast. As far as our oil find is concerned, they are trying to create problems that we have part of our land. They are trying to create problems as if they own part of our land. You know, land has got value, and land has been there since time immemorial. So, how do we come by land? In Ghana, land is owned by either stools or skins, that is in the northern and the upper region. And then also families and individuals, and then also the government. Now I will want to explain to you how all these skins, stools, individuals, families, and then the government, how they come by their land. Now, land, as we all know, if you have a land, you don't own the whole world, you have a limitation. So in order to enable you to administer your land very well, it means you must be on record, documentary, that you own a certain land, and then by planning, you know where you own to, your neighbors, your boundary neighbors on the north, on the south, and then on the east and the west. It is through this that if there's a problem on any land, you will be in a position to advance your cause in a tribunal or in a court to make sure that at least your land does not get out of hand. Now, having explained to how land ownership is, through families, states, and government and individuals. There's tools through war and conquest. When they come, when they are able to overcome you, they capture you and then they take over your lands. Out of that, the families in any community, you have families, individual families. When they come together and then they become a stool. When we say a stool in Ghana here, it means a community with an occupant of a stool, which we call chief, or hene, or ni, or yana, or whatever, depending upon the locality. So, this land issue, if you have to get land, it means you have to approach the owner of the land. And in any particular area, whoever owns a land, we call him an allodia owner. When we say allodia owner, for example, if I own the whole of this room, and then I am trying to partition them and give them out for development, whoever is within this premises, which is the limitation of my land, I am supposed to be the allodia owner. In effect, nobody can own any land within this boundary, which I own, without me giving him. If anybody else comes to give you the land, automatically you take it that you don't own any land. Because once I'm the allodia owner, if you go and acquire the land from any other person, when there's a court suit or anything of that nature, when you go to the court, you will lose. So with this at the back of our mind, it means if you want to acquire land, you have to be discreet. You don't just go because I take you to the field, I say, well, this is my land, and then you are ready to part with money. You will have a problem. So, when you acquire land on this basis. Either it's a freehold or it's a leasehold. When we say freehold, it means that land that I give it out to you and then you own it forever. But when it's a leasehold, it means that when I give you the land, you can do whatever you want on the land. But don't forget, annually you have to pay me a consideration. In the case of leasehold, we call it rent or ground rent. So as far as you are paying your ground rent to me, you can still go on owing the land. But in the case of a freehold, although I have sold the land to you, immediately I give you papers to cover it. I don't have any hand in the land. Whatever you want to do, you can do it without consulting me. But in the case of leasehold, that one you are required by the agreement that I have signed with you. You are required to seek consent from me. Maybe you want to part with a portion to an investor. But once it's not a freehold, it means that I am the lessor and you who I have given you part of my land, you are the lessee. So in effect, the lessee is somebody who has acquired a land from an allodial owner, but because it's not a freehold, he becomes the lessor. And I will give you that land for a certain number of years subject to renewal. For instance, if you are not an indigent and you want to acquire a leasehold, by the laws of our land, you can only have a land for 50 years, after which you can seek for renewal. But if you are an indigent and you want a leasehold from me, that one you take it up for 99 years. Now, let us think about if we want to acquire any piece of land, what measures we have to put in place so that we will not go in for any land which is encumbered. When I say encumbered, it means that you can be subject to litigation because there's a problem. Either you are not buying the land from the rightful owner, or it can be anything. Or maybe me who is giving you the land. As I told you initially, I have a limitation of my land. But in our society, sometimes after having sold all my land, I can exceed beyond my boundary. And then when you buy the land from me, know that as far as my ownership is concerned, it is within this confine. And beyond this wall is not mine. But because I own here, and then you too, maybe you are ignorant. You come to me, I go and show you a piece of land here, beyond the wall. When you buy it from me, without doing the due diligence, you may have a problem. In effect, if you want to acquire a land, even from your brother, or your wife, or your father, what you have to do is, immediately, you must have a plan or a map of the land. And then you take it to the land agency. In this case, maybe the land commission or the land title. You go there with a plan in hand, and then you will pay a fee to the government, and then, or to the agency, and then they will use the plan to check from their records and give you a history of the land which you want to buy. So by getting the report covering the plan that is showing the limitation of the land that you want to acquire, maybe it's 100 by 100 or 200 by 200. So that is the land you are interested in. So when you take the plans and then you take it to the land agency, they will work on it and give you a written report. When the report is given to you, and then you realize that the person who wants to sell the land to you, his name does not appear anywhere, know that you are going to the wrong place. Because whoever is selling the land to you, once you take your plans, you take it to the a land agency, the person's name will reflect, and that is indicating that the man really owns the land and that he has registered it. Apart from that, if you want a land for residential purpose, or you want to put up a building, either for a factory or for residence or for anything or for a church, what you have to do is that, having established the owner of the land, that is not enough. Because like in Accra here, if you want to develop a parcel of land, you must send your plans that you want to develop the land, that is your burden. You must send the plan for approval at the various metropolitan assemblies, or the district assemblies, or the municipal assemblies. In effect, they are in charge of planning the area. In effect, if you own a land, that does not give you the right that you can do anything that you want on the land. You cannot do that. Whatever you want to do on the land must be fitted into the planning scheme of the area where you are. Maybe the land you want to develop is earmarked for a road. If you don't check and you go and buy it, the owner will collect your money. But you can never put up a building there because that side is meant for a road. Maybe it's an open space where nobody wants to. That happened to me. Okay. Someone says it happened to him. So don't let it happen to her. Don't let it happen to you. At least I am there. You can always consult me. But it will not be free anyway. But at least you get a good service from me. Because I will take care of you legally and technically. So you don't have problem. Sometimes in trying to consult a lawyer, the lawyer can only take care of the legal aspect. But when it comes to the planning and all those things, he's green about it. So if you want to acquire land, I am there. Afterwards, I'll give my number to you. And then, apart from that, you have a book. It's short in supply. Annually, when I am giving lectures like this, I used to have them. And then you buy it for some few dollars. So later on, after I finish the lecture, I'll give my number to you. If you are interested, having gone back, you call me at any time when I have some available. Then I can make it available to you. With that book, you will not need to go to a lawyer because we have written it in such a way that we've broken it down to the layman's level. So when you read it, you will get to know what is expected from you if you want to acquire a piece of land. So, as I'm saying, having got a report showing ownership, that enables you to buy the land because you know the person who is selling the land to you owns it. But that is not the only thing that you have to do. You must make sure that the piece of land that you have acquired, the purpose for which the authority, that is the metropolitan or the municipal authority, whatever they have planned, your land that you have acquired, if you acquire it, you can use it for the purpose. In effect, you can acquire land which has been zoned for a church. You can acquire land which has been zoned for market. You can acquire land which can be zoned for commercial purpose. So when you acquire land for commercial purpose, you can't do residential. You can't do residential purpose with it. So all these things are very essential. Please take note. And then, when you want to acquire land, having gone through all these things, when you acquire it, at least whoever is giving you the land must give you what we call right of entry. I have sold the land to you, but I must give you a right of entry which should enable you to enter the land. So once I give you the right of entry, whilst you're on the land, anybody comes around to mess up with you. You just ignore the person because one, you conducted a search. Two, the person who sold the land to you, having assured yourself that the person owns title to the land, has given you the right to enter the land because the land has been given to you and then maybe you have paid for it. there are different modes of payment. Sometimes you can pay by cash, maybe you can pay by check, maybe you can pay by local currency, or you can pay by foreign currency, depending upon how you negotiate for the land. Then, apart from that, maybe you are not interested in acquiring a land, but you are interested in acquiring a completed building, or a house, or a hotel, or anything. Make sure that at any time, whoever you are negotiating with, he is the real owner. Because if you don't take time, there are a lot of agents. They are not the real landowners. And some of them are cantankerous. He will take you to the building. You go and open up every place and then you see it. And then you like it. You pay the money to him. By the time he hands over the keys to you, when you come, you can't open even one door. And then he will vamoose. You will never see him again. How are you going to get your money? So at any time when you want to make an acquisition of a land, make sure that whoever is claiming he owns the land is able to show you an identity, either a passport, a driving license, or any voter's card. Then you are sure that you are dealing with the person. He is the rightful person you are dealing with. Other than that, don't be surprised. You go and pay money to somebody to acquire land, you don't see him again, and that will be your end. Now, apart from that too, apart from this lease and the freehold, sometimes when you conduct a search, maybe the person who owns the property or the land, his name is there all right, but sometimes he has mortgaged the land to a financial institution, maybe a bank. He may show you his papers, you go and check, and then his name is there. But in case he has any mortgage with any bank, sometimes they are not shown. The bank, sometimes they have an internal arrangement with the customer. So before you realize, when you acquire such a land, and maybe the owner of the land or the building has mortgaged the property, you can never get your papers through. So all these things require that you have to be discreet, especially in the greater Accra region. There's a series of land litigation. If you don't take time, I will sell a land to you. I'll collect your money all right. Whilst you are on the phone, another person will come around. He said, I'm the real owner of the land. Go and collect your money. And then eventually, if you want to secure the land, you have to pay to that man again. And then, having acquired it, don't be surprised. Another third, fourth person, all of them will come and tell you that the land is my land. And if you want to have the land, all what you have to do is just to sacrifice and then take care of the person. And then before you see one land, you bought it 10 times. So on this note, I will wish very well that at any time you want to acquire a land, make sure that don't think that you get money to spend. The money is there, you like the land. Sometimes you get a customer, you are trying to service him so that you acquire a genuine land from him. He goes to see a land. The land is a government land, and no individual can sell that land. But the person is so much obsessed in acquiring that land. If you advise him, he will not take it. So when you do like that, you go and buy the land. Make sure that eventually you can never have the land. Because when the government has interest in any land, it means that it's only the government who can grant you that land. So please don't joke with it. If somebody comes, oh, this land is my land, say, thank you very much. Let me have your papers. I'm going to check. If it's not genuine, you see, you'll be giving you excuses, and then that will be the end. Especially in the greater Accra area. So I will wish very well that don't just be interested in just buying the land because you have the money in your pocket. Be interested that you are not going to buy a land which will eventually lead you to court. Because now if you have a land case, you go to a lawyer. If he doesn't collect from you at all, maybe he can collect about 50,000 Ghana cedis as a deposit, depending upon the location and the value of the land. And that will not be the end, though. That is just a deposit. By the time that you finish the litigation, if you are lucky and you don't lose the case, you see that you have spent so much money, which is not worth. So please, I'm appealing humbly to you, all of you, take note of what I told you. And then don't just be pushed by the money, because you got money to spend. When you do like that, you always laugh at the wrong side of your mouth. So on this note, maybe I will end here. Since there are other persons who will have to do the talk. And then if I'm permitted to take questions, then I can let you people put, or if I have to come and say later on.
Right, we'll take questions.
Okay.
After all the lectures. And before you say